Treasurer Josh Frydenberg, who is in Melbourne for us this morning. Treasurer, good morning to you. Any of those things on the table?
Well, we are providing financial assistance to states who see a lockdown of more than 7 days, but we're not bringing back JobKeeper. That was a temporary emergency support payment, the most expensive such program any Australian government has ever undertaken, at around $90 billion, and it did its job. But we've got to obviously contain the virus, and that's why the testing, the tracing and the vaccine rollout are all very important.
You have admitted, and you have said in the last couple of weeks, things economically are going incredibly well. What's wrong with providing some more financial support then for those businesses that are going through this kind of lockdown?
Well, we are providing additional support across the economy because of COVID. In fact, $41 billion of additional spending, Karl, was announced in this year's budget just a few weeks ago. We have transitioned off those emergency support payments to other support, whether it is investment incentives, whether it's tax relief, whether it's skills programs, or for the tourism industry, the half-price airfares. Now, obviously, they're contingent upon having free border travel, and that's why it is really important that we get on top of this virus as quickly as possible.
Okay, so nothing in additional is what you're saying this morning?
Nothing in addition to what we've already announced, but that does include income support for people in New South Wales who are subject to a lockdown of more than 7 days.
Okay, the AMA says if the rollout had been quicker, we wouldn't be going through lockdowns on this scale. Do you accept any responsibility?
Well, we are rolling out the vaccine as quickly as possible, and over 7.3 million doses have been delivered. More than 28% of the eligible population has received their first dose. And as you know, Karl, we've focused on the most vulnerable cohort. So the over 50s, over 50% have received their first dose. And the over 60s, around 60% have received their first dose. And the over 70s, nearly 70% have received their first dose. If you look at the United Kingdom, yesterday there were 18,000 new cases in the United Kingdom. Yet they had seen a rollout of the vaccine to more than 80% of their population. We're dealing with a much more contagious and dangerous Delta strain, and that is why the restrictions that have been put in place have been required.
But do you accept that if the rollout had been quicker, that the lockdowns wouldn't be of this magnitude?
Well, we're rolling it out, the vaccine, as quickly as possible. Got more than 5,000 contact points across the country. We've had issues with supply with the AstraZeneca vaccine. As you know, they were beyond our control with respect to the blood clots and the impact that it was having on certain age groups. So we took the ATAGI advice and the health advice at every turn, and we are having more Pfizer vaccine coming online, and we're providing them as quickly as possible, those doses, to the states and to the GPs.
So what will that national vaccination level need to be at to stop the lockdowns?
Well, again, the UK is instructive. You've seen 80% plus of people getting a vaccination, yet they're still seeing outbreaks. So we're not putting a specific number on it. We're rolling it out as quickly as possible as more supply comes on board.
So, Lord help us then. I mean, if we're going to continue to have lockdowns even at 80%, and God knows when we'll have 80% of the vaccinations rolled out across the country, this is life as we need to get to know it.
Well, we're going to have to learn to live with the virus. The virus is going to be with us for some time, but let's not forget how successful Australia has been to date. We have been dealing with outbreaks previously, and we've been successful in suppressing them. Australia's economic recovery, among the strongest in the world, has been based on our successful suppression of the virus. I've got great confidence in our dedicated health professionals on the front line and in the contact testing and tracing and the other measures that have been put in place.
Was New South Wales government wrong in waiting so long for that lockdown?
I think Gladys Berejiklian has been a standout strong performer throughout this crisis, and she has taken the health advice and acted as quickly as necessary.
And do you think she should have taken the lockdown sooner?
Well, again, she was taking the actions based on the medical advice, and I'll back her judgment to do that.
Will you back the medical advice?
always backing the medical advice that has been provided to the government. That's why we have acted the way we did with our early border closures, and that's why we have taken the advice with respect to the vaccine rollout as well, and prevented its distribution to certain cohorts with the AstraZeneca vaccine. Again, we're not medical experts. We rely on the medical experts.
OK, latest polls are out this morning. Looks like ScoMo's approval rating goes up when he's in quarantine. Any truth to the rumour you're looking to keep him isolated for as long as humanly possible, Josh?
Well, I spoke to him last night, and he's looking forward to getting out of quarantine as quickly as possible.
With respect, you're not answering the question, Treasurer.
I'm not. Well, Karl, I think he's getting work done there, but I would welcome him out of quarantine when he's finished his 14 days.
What sort of work is he getting done? You mean?
Well, we're having meetings all the time, including a meeting today of the National Security Committee of Cabinet.
All right, good to talk to you, Josh. Thank you. We're still ahead on today.